Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Connecting with Jennifer Filzen. Today I have Stephanie. And Stephanie, I want to say it's Levine or Levine. Which one is it? Or
You are
better,
50% right. No, I say Levine, and actually some of my family says Levine, but I say Levine, so you
right?
win either way.
I get it because Filzen is the American version of it should be Filzen in the proper German form, but yeah, everyone wants to throw a T in there. So it's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. Anyway, I'm so excited to have you on. Tell us a little bit about what makes you special and unique.
Ah, um, I'm here with you, which I think is special for today and all days. Let's see, I'm a fiction writer and just an all-around genuinely nice person, I hope. And when I was looking at this before and thinking about it, I was like, well, what makes me at all different? And I think aside from the fact that I'm a fiction writer full time and, oh goodness, who did not put their phone to mute. Um, Anyhow, sorry, it's one of those crazy days.
So,
Um, and I'm one of those people who is always finding the silver lining. And I didn't realize that this was, I mean, I knew it was not an everyone thing because I'm the person people come to when there's any sort of, and like, oh, this happened, or I'm stuck, or in life, or what should we do? And I'm always like, okay, don't worry, like, whatever happened, there's a good part of it, or a bonus, or a lesson, or something good, and or if you're stuck or whatever, that's fine. Like there's always a way out. There's always something else. There's always a bright side or an option. Even in challenges, if you made a mistake, big deal. That's the lesson. That's the fun of life. That's the adventure. And I kind of always thought that even though people didn't always find the silver lining in things the way I did, that everyone was sort of going for the same goal of like, let's find the happy place, right? In every situation. Like we always want to be looking for the true north of things that bring us joy or happiness and things like that. And in this last year I did this little test note, like a personality test kind of thing, which of course I've done a million of those, but this one as I was reading through and I'm like, wait a second, does not everyone want that? Is that not like this whole time I thought I was talking a common language and I was like talking to my friends and like, oh no, I see the world this way and blah blah and here I'm like, oh, okay, that is mind blowing, but I guess it makes sense that that's different, that I simply saw things differently. So I guess if that's helpful, that is how I'm a little that's what's
good.
unique about me.
And it makes total sense. I mean, you have to have that going on when you are writing fiction. So, yeah, I mean, God bless you. It's great. Now, tell me, who do you serve in your life? Who are you? Who is your target audience? And then you have a family. Like, who is it that you're serving?
My with my writing, I guess, I mean, I definitely have a readership, of course, and this a certain target audience. But I really am trying to entertain and at the same time motivate and embolden is sort of my underlying secret thing I'm trying to do is just to, when people read, even to escape, I want them to come away with it and really think, oh, that character is like me in some way and was willing to take a risk for what they wanted. And maybe in some small way or in some huge way, I can do that now too, or I'm inspired. So I I try and I guess serve humanity at large through the little things I do, the conversations I have on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I try. I'm also notorious for having really long conversations with random people, like the cashier. And I'm always like, how's your day? Let's talk. And my husband's like, you don't need to spend that long with the cashier. I'm like, but it was a good moment. So I just, in general, I humanity, and then generally trying to be a good human for the planet, and just in general, I mean, it's a hard thing to be a good person. There's so many ways to be very human, but
You can get it out of your system by putting it in your fiction, right? You know, you can be that villain, you can be the hero, you can be all the supporting characters all at once as it unfolds, right? Which is kind of fun.
And also trying to show like the villain, which I mean are always good to have and stuff, but there's usually like people aren't intrinsically bad, and just showing that there's layers and levels to people, and hopefully showing others through fiction and then through real life that like, hey, there's a lot of gray area in the world and we need to understand each other and listen to one another and help each other really more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So that is a great segue. The next question is, what is your why? And what I mean by that is, we all have something that we just are divinely inspired to do, the thing that gets us out of bed every day, like even when we don't want to get out of bed. What is your why?
This is something I've probably written a million times, and of course now that I'm just asked directly, it becomes a big, well, I don't know, a big blank. But as is always the case, right? But I think it's a combination of what I said. I generally and genuinely, I'm really excited by life in general and want to experience it myself and help other people and do that as well. Like, so through conversations, through creative things, I get excited to create things or again, just experience things or talk with people and just sort of like seeing what's out there and what's available and just what our lives can be. And combined with, I think my why at the very end of the day is sort of freedom. I want the freedom to do what I want, when I want, where I want. I'm not very good at being tethered down by anything rules. I mean, I'm very loyal and very consistent. I do my job and like my job is being a writer, but you know what I mean? Like I'm a consistent person, but at the end of the day, I just want to be free to sort of live my life in the
Oh,
world the best I can.
I totally get it. Yeah, it's like take off the strappings of what we should be and let me be who I am. Yeah, exactly. What advice do you have for people who want to get into fiction writing and how to get into it full time? Like, what is your journey on that, and what advice do you have for the people listening?
The journey is long and loopy, and as most are. But I think whether it's fiction writing or any, because I've been in other creative fields, I was in the film industry, I was a photographer and designer for years, and um, they're all a variation of a theme, like all work, no matter what it is, no matter what your dream is. Really, it's a variation of a theme. Even if you're working in construction, even if you're working in interior design or writing, like the fundamentals are essentially the same. And I think we all get so nervous and self critical and we hold ourselves back. We're like, but everyone wants this dream that I want. And maybe a lot of people do, but yours is specific to you. And I feel like when you have whatever the urge it is that you have to start taking steps towards that because you're going to have to start at the ground level no matter what you do. And if you work some random job, you are going to work your butt off and you're going to work super hard and you're going to climb a ladder. And at some point, you're going to say, okay, now I'm ready to start my dream way down here, and you're going to eventually because it's going to get to you, right? Or I hope it gets to you, and I hope you follow your dreams. So I like to, or I hope I can impart to people that like you need to just start, and sometimes you can't quit your job or you can't change your life radically. I want to be traveling all the time. Well, I have certain things, obligations in a family and stuff. I can't do everything exactly how I want to do right now, but I can take steps towards it. And everyone should be taking those steps and finding the things that you love. And if you want to be a writer, you need to find a way to start writing. Like it's not some untouchable thing that no one can get to. Like you're going to learn. If you're not that good right now, you're going to get better. And you might be great at some things and bad at some things, and you're going to get better, right? You're going to build, but you have to start and you have to like put aside that voice and ego or in all the little person who's always like, no, 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 or this is terrible. Oh my God. It's going to be there. And you have to be like, okay, you know what? Let's talk tomorrow. Today, I just need to take a step. And it can be a tiny step or a big step or bold, but you just have to start climbing and you will get to where you want to be. And where you want to be, you might not even know, what the top of the ladder you're climbing is, but you have to start now or as soon as you're ready, when you feel you're ready, no matter what it is that calls you, and it is the right thing. And it is, I don't know, there's just people like me that support you endlessly. Like I just want people to know that there is just a wellspring of support available, especially in this day and age where I can be talking to you today, like, from so far away, and sharing with each other and helping each other. It's
For
amazing.
sure. Yeah, it's all about online communities. It's all about building community around what you're doing. And you're right, taking radical action. We can all wish that we could accomplish something, but until we actually do it, I wanted to learn how to play the bass guitar. I wanted to learn how to play drums. It wasn't until I actually got them and started taking the lessons that finally it's become a reality. You just have to take that step as opposed to, I wish, I wish, I wish. But you're right, the time will come. I mean, we all have times in our lives where the moment of truth comes and it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. Or, I really don't want to do this. I was just all talk.
And sometimes you have to buy the drum set or whatever, right? To sit down and be like, oh, what I really liked was something sort of related, but not not playing or
Oh yeah.
whatever.
Oh yeah, it's true. Like when I started my music career way back and I was doing my singer songwriting stuff and my albums, I love creating music. But as far as getting up on a stage and performing in front of people, not so much.
And
So
there's so many avenues, right? You can be a touring musician, you can be a studio musician, you can put out your own music. But
yeah,
until then, you're going to be in your wherever thinking about, I just want to be this thing. It's like, once you start moving, it's like, oh, and then that becomes possible because you can, I'll buy your CD.
yeah, thank you. But no, I mean
All of them.
it's just like, it's cool to know that there is no direct path. Like circuitous, loopy journeys, but that's the fun of it, isn't it? I mean, we don't really want to get lost, but isn't the getting lost part kind of the fun?
Yeah. And it's totally, and it can be so frustrating when you look back and you're like, why did I do this instead of this? And that can be frustrating. Like if you're someone like me who has routinely been like, I want to be a writer and I need to write, but what if I do this career instead and spend a long time doing it and building it from scratch, which makes no sense or made no sense. And it was a great time and I learned a lot. And you always want to at least do that. But it's funny, you you can come back and say, okay, you should have just started then. But then sometimes you could also say, you know what, maybe I wasn't ready yet. Maybe, have grace with yourself and say, you know what, I needed to do the loops and the go here and there. And now I can take those experiences and build them now that I'm actually ready. So it is always fun in some way, or at least an experience. And aside from that, it probably can benefit you as long as
Oh,
you eventually stop it if you're holding yourself back.
I totally love it. So let's find out more about how your books, how to get a hold of your books and all that stuff. What are the titles? What is it about? Where do we find your books?
I My name is Stephanie LaVigne. I write mystery and I write mystery under my name. I also write under pen names. The only pen name I'm currently writing under for romance is Sophie Mays, and so that's more like sweet Hallmark small town. But you can go to Stephanie LaVigne and you can find my books. This year is sort of a slow build. I have a lot coming out next year. I mean, I have books now, and I have some series that are available. And yeah, so it's been a fun year because prior to this year, I was only writing under pen names. And so this has been a sort of, okay, new phase, writing for several years and learning the business and the marketing and all the fun stuff. And then finally saying, okay, now you can go out and be yourself and start that chapter, as it were.
Oh, for sure. And then also too, don't beat yourself up too much about it because as we're going through the loops, we're acquiring more experience. So we can say, oh, well, I know this. Like, for example, my husband was in commercial printing for 20 something years, and he's always been an artist, but, he would then eventually become who'd rise through the ranks and become a graphic designer and such. And now that he is doing his art, and in addition to working for Rockstar Marketing, my business, he's in charge of our media division. A
Very
client
cool.
will say, oh, I need help with the layout. Well, guess what? Not only can he design it, but because he has the print background, he can explain exactly what needs to take place for that print to look beautiful.
Yes.
So it's all good that we acquire all of these skills because they always parlay into something else that takes us to the next
Yep.
level.
Absolutely. I always say too, when you're at that place, especially when you're learning something new or forging a new career or anything, and everything there's these huge roadblocks, these seeming roadblocks or obstacles, you'll always get caught up on something, oh my the name I'm going to use or a contract, whatever it is, or the graphic, the specs, whatever it is, there's something or usually a couple things. And when my friend and I had first started publishing and we were doing it under pen names, I said, you know what? The things now that are huge, seemingly huge hurdles that we're getting super hung up on, 3 months from now are going to be such old news, right? We're going to do that in our sleep, and there's going to be new ones. And of course, many years later, it continues to be the thing. And like you said, when we were freaked out about formatting a book correctly, now if someone calls me and is like, how do I do this? I'm like, oh gosh, I do that all day long without even thinking about it. But it was huge in the beginning, right? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. So yeah, and then you build, and you need that foundation. Those foundational things are so helpful in creating, I guess, useful humans.
Oh, amazing. And where are you located again?
I live in South Florida, so it's
Oh,
hot,
wonderful.
sunny South Florida.
Where in South Florida?
Fort Lauderdale. So I'm about a mile from the beach, and don't go as often as I should, but I drive by a lot and put down the windows if nothing else. Like, okay.
I get
So,
it. I'm originally from Jacksonville. In fact, I'll be
oh,
in a couple weeks. So yeah.
that's awesome. That's where my husband's from, was born and grew up. We'll have to talk about that one day.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes, Florida's a good place. And man, you guys have so many people moving into that state right now. It's
it's
just,
nuts. Yeah. I've
yeah,
basically been living I live downtown. But we've just pretty much been on our property for like a year and stuff, which has been totally fine with me. It's been very nice. But I'm now starting to go out a little. I'm like, there's so many cars. I've heard about this. I'm like, where's everyone coming from? But of course, I'm reading about it. But I'm like, oh my gosh, they are not joking. It is quite the hot spot right now.
quite the hot
It's
spot.
been
Literally,
for a while.
figuratively. Yeah, right? Because it's hot and it's hot.
Yeah. 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 Coming into summer too. Like, really? You guys still want to come down during summer? You sure?
Oh
And move
yeah.
here?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? But no, I live in Monterey, California now. And
Oh,
I tell you
that's
what,
beautiful.
I love it. It's not hot. We do not have the mosquito as the Florida state bird, as you often do. The humidity is lower. We still have humidity. I'm 7 blocks from the water and I get to see it, but we're also on a hill, so I can see it. So I don't have to be on it like the first beachfront. I can be on my hill and I still see it. So
It's so gorgeous there. That's amazing. I've only been there once and I still want to go back to that area. I'm always like, there's like the hotel I stayed in years ago, and I'm like, I will now go back and also visit Jennifer.
yay!
Yeah.
What hotel was it?
I think it was in Carmel,
Carmel?
which I think is kind of the same area, right? Am I just
Carmel's
completely
only 20 minutes away from us, but yes,
okay?
Monterey,
I think that, yeah.
Carmel.
And
We're
I should think of the hotel. All I know is, and I know the name because I have it written down somewhere, but in the room, it was on a cliff, and I think the Pacific Coast Highway is underneath. It might even be a Hilton, which is really random, but there's a fireplace inside, and then you could open the door. Hyatt, maybe the Hyatt, yeah.
Carmel Highlands Inn.
Yes, it was incredible. Like,
We
and I was living at New York at the time. I was like, this is an oasis. Just doors open, listening to the ocean, fire crackling over on the side. I was like,
Yep, we go dancing there every week.
oh my God, that's amazing. And it's a beautiful property, right? As I recall.
Yeah, it's over 100 years old, and it has been around since the golden age of movies, and a lot of stars would stay there, and a lot of people have
Mhm.
gotten married there. It is stunning. So yes, we dance in that lobby with the fireplaces, and the sunset lounge allows us to see the sunset.
Oh my gosh. And do you swing dance? Is that true? Is
Yep,
that?
West Coast swing. Uh-huh.
I'm like, that is. on my to-do list of dreams. I tried to learn when I was younger. I've been obsessed since I was very young. Yeah, and I saw that I was like, what? Okay, that's a conversation for another day. And I have very few moves. Unfortunately, back in the day, I was learning from a book, so I know all the boy moves because I was making my friend learn to dance with me. Um, I am very excited that you swing dance and that you swing dance at that particular hotel. So basically, everything you have going on makes me very happy.
Oh, I'm so glad. And also, too, if you really do want to learn West Coast swing, I know that they have a lot of West Coast swing communities in Florida. Tampa's huge. West Palm Beach is huge. Miami's huge. Yeah, you are not far from West Coast swing. All you have to do is Google it, get onto Facebook, West Coast swing. Trust me, you have
Okay.
some amazing champion level dancers in your area.
When I first moved back, I'm from Florida, but when I first moved back, and I almost moved to California from New York, and I ended up moving back here. And I remember actually looking and that there was a couple of dance halls that offered it, and then whatever life took hold, and I did my next thing, and I got derailed from my dancing career.
It's all right. Kids do that,
Yeah, no,
right?
that's cool though. That's a good reminder.
Well, I am so happy that we got together and thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for joining me and Stephanie today. We had fun connecting. We got to find out what her why is and that she's a fiction writer. Please go visit her,
Yes,
StephanieLavigne.com.
com or in any of your favorite online platforms. I'm there. Just put my name in, and you will find me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again. You have a beautiful rest of your week and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.